May 2022 general energy reading. It is eclipse season. There are retrogrades coming. We got Pluto going retrograde. We got Mercury going retrograde. And essentially what it all comes down to is your reputation. So the journey that you've been taking over this last little bit, over the last 3 months, essentially, has now led to a point of your reputation being front and center this month for May 2022. And you're going to think that you're going to have to move on. You're like, all right, like my reputation is here based on the journey that I've been taking. Now I think it's time for me to move on. However, there is a masculine fire sign, so a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy that has been deceiving you through their thoughts. So because they think this or they think that, it is influencing whether or not you think it is time to move on. And mainly it's about money. Oh, but how are you going to do that? I think that you can't do that. I think that will be too expensive. Really, this is just a pattern coming back up because subconsciously you think that they are right, that it is too hard to make this transition. It is too hard to move forward. You're only thinking that, and what your subconscious wants you to do is think different. And it really is as simple as that. If you can think it, then you then achieve it, right? So if you think that you can't afford it, you're not going to be making decisions that are a product of being able to afford something. But at the end of the day, I watched this documentary where a guy went around the world with zero money, and it was a kindness project. You want to see how far he got just based on the kindness of others, and not to get too far into it and not to say too much about our society, but it was more of the poor societies, the third world countries that were opening their doors. We share this one bed, my family of 6. We will all sleep on the floor, even my pregnant wife, and you cannot accept no, we will not accept no for an answer. You are taking our bed, strange man, and we are sleeping on the floor. So at the end of the day, as much as this journey has come to a peak and your reputation is now being put under this microscope and you're thinking it's time to move on, this masculine fire, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius is deceiving you, saying, no, you can't do that. You wouldn't be able to afford that. You wouldn't be able to, you'd be a charity case. How could you do that? That is okay, because we are now going to think different about what that means. As soon as we are a charity case, we are reminding ourselves, first of all, it's not a bad thing asking for help. We're reminding ourselves of the abundance that surrounds us. It's only when you are starving, when you are on your last dollar, that you see humanity and yourself through humanity, through others' eyes, right? Like when I'm starving, when I don't know where my next meal's coming from, what decisions am I making? Who am I reaching out to for help? Who can I rely on, right? So essentially this month, May 2022, is showing us our last meal. You're on your last breadcrumb. Who are you reaching out to for help? Where do you have support? Where do you have people saying, oh, that sucks for you, but I can't help buy, and we're really going to be able to see things for what they are. And what that does is it reminds us that it is important for us to feel secure for a young Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, and then we can emotionally move on. So it's saying, all right, I might be a charity case in this scenario, but I'm changing the way that charity energy represents for me, and it not seeing it as a negative thing, because what it's going to do is it's going to empower me enough, give me enough security to then help this young earth sign and then emotionally move on from something so that I can then create or manifest a new beginning that is something I can nourish, that allows me my alone time, that brings in divine intervention, which then brings in and magnifies my intuition and my high priestess energy. So that's all beneath the surface this month, but on the surface, it's just going to feel like a lot of juggling. It's going to feel like we're an idiot. It feels like, we don't have anything, that everything's a risk, that every single thing is based on optimism and just hoping for the best. But really, it's because we are feeling pretty emotionally content right now. And that's where this juggling energy is coming in, where it's like, well, I'm feeling okay. So why would I make a movement? Why would I move on? Why would I do this, do that? But realizing at the end of the day, this juggling, even though we do feel emotionally content with the juggle, it's not secure, right? Some people do feel happy doing the juggle. doing the balance dance. You know, some people feel emotionally happy because it reminds us that we have things to juggle. You know, it's when we are juggling everything in our lives, we feel important, we feel needed, we feel like that's that reputation, right? Like, oh no, I can't do that. I'm on the phone and this is an important call. Like, I can't do that, even though you also want me. Sorry, I'm on a call. Like, it reminds me back in the day when before like texting and Instagram, when you would kind of like pretend to be on a phone call just because you didn't want to be sitting there like an idiot. Like, it's really that energy coming back up over this month, realizing that juggling act is making us feel emotionally content. But of course, also our emotional happiness is then creating that juggling act as well. And it can feel kind of like we're silly, like we're imbalanced, that we're stupid, that we didn't make the right decisions, that we're too risky in the past. So another subconscious influence is negative energy. So this is envy, resentment, anger, jealousy, animosity towards other people. This is also fueling a lot of that juggling as well. So a lot of the times what ends up happening is we are on that juggling map. We are kind of figuring out our resources, our power. We're trying to figure it all out. And that makes us feel happy because subconsciously we know that it's creating envy in others. We know that it's creating, you know, jealousy or creating negativity for other people, knowing that we have so much on our plate and we can't help them. Right? It ends up creating a negative energy in other people, which then goes back to who we are on the inside. Do we feel okay with that negative energy beneath the surface? A lot of the times we do because it's something that's happened to us. You know, I see it now where I'll be working and it's almost like, you know, my daughters are asking for attention, asking for help, and no, mommy's got to work. And I'm like, do I? And I realized, oh, it's because my mom, when I would say, mommy, let's play Barbies, my mom says, no, I'm on the computer. I got to work. So now because I've experienced that, I then want other people to experience it because it justifies my experience having other people on my team, but I put them on that team based on how I was treated and what I hated, you know? So it's just the human experience. And it's as soon as we recognize it, we can kind of release it. And at the end of the day, what ends up happening is we're just thinking that we need a break. We're like, okay, we're juggling so much. Oh, I need a break. I can't handle this. And that break ends up being almost a reward for the hard work that we've done. But the hard work that we've done might not even be warranted for a break. Do you see what I'm saying? So if the hard work is something that we had to kind of do work, and we ignored our self-care, we ignored, you know, that opportunity to make a memory with our child. So then we can say, oh, I need a break, when that child was asking you to take a break 2 days ago and you ignored them because you were working, right? Like the universe is looking at us like, what are you doing? Like, you had an inspired moment. It reminds me of when people are saying they're waking up every night at this time. What do? I just toss and turn, or I put on TV, or I try to, you know, or I smoke a joint, or I go on my phone. Why don't you use that opportunity to take a break, a creative break? You know, if you're awake and you aren't meant to be at work or online or doing this or doing that or taking care of kids, why don't you use that opportunity, that energy, to give yourself a real break, which is a creative break, which is tapping back into our creativity, tapping back into what makes us feel happy. Those are the true breaks, right? That's what really is fueling us. That is what's feeding us. We have a break, a lunch break, because we know that food fuels us. So at 3:30 in the morning, if you can't sleep, that's your lunch break. What are you going to feed yourself with? All right. So the next card is the vibration that we're on. Welcome to eclipse season, where everybody is testy. Everybody is so testy. Everybody wants to fight. There is confrontation. There is conflict, because this is another form of creativity. You know, the other day I was driving and I saw some boys fighting, and one boy, they were like probably like 9 years old. One boy ended up putting this kid in a headlock. And it almost, like, to me, it looked like he was just so desperate for that hug, for that touch, for that care, because we live in a society that says, you know, no, boys can't, you know, you can play fight, but you can't play hug. Whereas you have girls who are cuddling their stuffies and stuff like that. So we're seeing conflict over this next month. And really, we need to be looking at it as a little kid putting you in a headlock just because they're desperate for touch. So that conflict with that person who cut you off that's still a connection. Even if it's anger and swearing and fighting, it really still is a connection. So looking at it from that point of view, you'll be able to see where you're creating conflict out of a deep-seated need to connect. All right, next card is the Wheel of Fortune. This is where family and friends are right now. Family and friends, you're on a completely new direction with them. Something has shifted. You're on a completely new direction with them. You might as well keep going that way because that is the way to be going. It's already started. Walk that path. Hope and fear is a 7 of Swords. Hope and fear is deception, right? Deceiving, and also thievery, trickery, whether you're doing it or whether you are experiencing it. The way I see it, I just found out that on the Forbes 30 under 30, you pay for that. Like, I felt so scammed. I'm like, oh my God, all these people who are, revered in their reputation, they're on front page news, 30 under 30, they campaigned, they paid to be there. Like, to me, that is just the biggest deception in our society. Like, that is a massive, massive deception. You shouldn't be paying. That's not fair. Okay. Like, that's how I feel. And what that has done is it's changed my point of view. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm looking at people who are successful, but what did you have to pay to get there, and vice versa? What am I willing to pay in order to feel successful? So hope and fear is deception. We hope to be able to deceive others by paying to be somewhere that maybe we actually don't feel worthy of being. And we also fear deception because we know that other people are paying to be in situations that they don't deserve to be. So conflict, push and pull between how much we are advocating for ourselves and recognizing where other people are advocating for themselves and deceiving us by not giving us the full information. So the outcome for May 2022 is fairness is coming back. There is a balance coming back, and it's going to require some time alone in isolation, in meditation. The universe could create a sickness, an illness that propels you to rest, to take that break that we've been saying we don't have time to break from. And what that ends up with is realizing how much support we have around us. So fairness is coming back. What goes around is coming back around. It's creating an opportunity for rest and to realize who really does support us and who is just playing the part, who is just paying to feel that support, who is just giving you what you feel, what they feel you want to hear, but who's really actually there when the chips are down, right? Who's truly actually in your corner. May 2022 will show you that new direction, and it's on you to then decide if you want to keep that support system in your life or if you want to move forward. As always, if you want a personalized reading, you can find me on Instagram at Beyond Your Sun Sign. Watch out for the scammers. Beyond Your Sun Sign. I'm around like 5,000 followers or 4,000 followers. So you'll know if it's me or not. You can also just message me and I'll send you a little message saying, hi, it's me, it's legit. You can also find me through email, beyondyoursunsign@gmail.com. Have an amazing May 2022. I'll see you next month. Bye.